We're just talking about your softball performance, Donovan. Baseball runs in your blood, but I'll be honest. I had a little bit of skepticism that you were as good as advertised at baseball, and you were even better. Than what I
It says you bust some windows.
Yeah, it was two. One was a cop car. I know that. So the city is trying to get me back for that one. Yeah, I know, but I'm kidding. And then the other one was I forgot who it was, but it's definitely two cars over the what do you call it? Yeah, over the fence.
I'm telling you, 400, 450 foot.
Woo!
Donovan, we are here. If you want to talk baseball all day, we can talk baseball all day. But I know the Mets didn't make the playoffs, so a bit of a sore subject. Well, let's talk a little hoops, though. You guys have added Max Strus, George Niang. Offensively, there should be way more spacing this season for you guys to operate within than there was last season. How much does that kind of unlock your true creativity as a playmaker within the flow of the offense, having guys in the corner or knock down 40, 45% shooters?
I think it's night and day. I think for myself, that's kind of what I've been accustomed to for most of my career. Obviously in Utah with Boyan, Mike, Jaron Clarkson, Royce O'Neal. So now you add Max, and obviously George was a part of that early in my career as well. You add that to what we already have in myself, Darius, Karras, Evan, J.A. I think it's just going to make it a lot easier in the offensive end, being able to play off each other, not having to dominate the ball, being able to move around and whatnot. So, I think that's something that, will ultimately unlock us in different ways and, ultimately make us better.
Additions. Summertime. Acquisitions. Because, you know how it is in pro sports. You get put out of the playoffs early, everybody starts panicking. It's like, oh, what is going on here? Relax. We added some pieces here, right? What did you do? What did you think about the pieces acquired? And then what did you have to do once you figured out what was coming to figure out how to place your game to take it to another level?
I think it addressed, obviously an obvious need, especially when you come down to the playoff series. But, for myself, like I said, it wasn't too much of adjustment because before I was here, that's what I was around the spacing. So I think, obviously last year was adjustment to having less space, but I think now more so it's just getting back to making, the simple plays. And I think that's one thing that I learned, in my time in Utah with the shooting that we had, is just making the simple plays. Sometimes defense, like a lot of this is going to be the defense is just going to make us have to make a decision. We're going to make them make a decision. Which one do you want to take away today? You know what I mean? Do you want us to get to the rim? Do you want to find Evan? Do you want to find Jay? Or do you want to give it the three-point shot? And 9 times out of 10, they're not giving up three-point shots. So it creates gaps, creates lanes, and then naturally defense helps, and then guys are open for shots. And it's not just myself, it's not just Darius, it's not just Karras, it's different guys, finding ways to get into those teams and finding ways to create for each other. And hitting Ev, Jay in that half row, who are phenomenal playmakers in the half row. I think that's something that really can, like I said, unlock us in a different way.
I know in the regular season, you guys were phenomenal. One of the best teams, number 1 ranked defense. I think you finished second team All-NBA, 28 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Beyond impressive numbers. The playoffs didn't end how anyone here in Cleveland would have wanted. Is that a little extra motivation heading into this offseason, Donovan, to kind of put that behind you, silence any doubters, and prove that you do belong in the upper echelon of the best players in the league?
Yeah, I think, we are in a world where it's, what have you done for me lately? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you kind of have to. I can sit here and argue that point to you, or I can sit here and do something about it. You know what I mean? So I think for myself and for us as a group, we played like shit, and there's no other way to run around it. I think now we've heard it. We sit here and talk about it. We can talk about this for days, but I've moved past that part of it. It's more so what can I do to be better? What can we do to be better? And I think that's how you continue to move forward. But if I sit here and say, man, I feel like shit, man, you constantly do that, you're going to deter yourself from moving forward and into your goals. So for myself and for this group, it's a learning lesson. There's a lot to learn from it, a lot to unpack, and a lot to figure out how we can be better. But, I've been really good in the playoffs. I've done this before. So now it's just, all right, let's get back to what you do. For myself. And then as a group, collectively, we haven't done it as a group, but individually, guys have done it in different areas. So how do we find a way to bring that together and, be good?
The latest and greatest, right? The Cavs are going to fly under the radar because of Lillard going to Milwaukee, Holiday going to Boston, right? We're going to fly under the radar. You think that puts it at a better space?
I mean, I've had both, and to be honest, I've had pressure when you come into when we were a 60-win team the year before, and then we came into an expedition. We ultimately didn't do well in Utah. And then I've also had situations like this where obviously the main story is the new additions that are in Milwaukee and in Boston, and you have Philly, what's going on over there. So it's no secret. I think for us, it's like whether all eyes are on us or all eyes aren't on us, we can only control what we can control. And I mean that through like actually physical we can control, but also on the floor. Like, whether it's turnovers, it's getting back on defense, getting stops. Like ultimately, if we do what we need to do, we ain't worried about nothing else. And I think that's kind of been the message throughout the group is there's going to be something. There's always going to be talk. There's always going to be a different element put in front of us. But how do we focus on what we do and adjust to and honestly, we had to adjust to others, but also make others adjust to us and what we got going. And I think that's kind of, that's the mindset of the group.
We got time for 2 more, Donovan. So I'm going to let you choose my last question. You want the real basketball question or you want more of the silly off-topic one?
You can go real basketball. Why not?
All right. Last year, obviously, you and Darius played together for the first time. Different skill sets, but they overlap a little bit. You guys both best with the ball in your hands. How has it gone from last year kind of learning how to play with Darius to now knowing what you guys, from both sides, knowing what you guys do well and accentuating to take you guys as a backcourt to that even higher level?
I think, as much as we did a lot last year, a lot of positive stuff last year. Obviously, we all look at the playoff series like, oh, this didn't go well, but we did we won 51 games as a duo and as a team. But, for myself and DG, like, I can sit here and have a conversation with you consistently, like, yeah, when I'm tired, I like this, or when I like to be this, or I like to be that. I can sit here and tell you that, and you'll understand it. We'll have an understanding, and we'll get out there and do it. But once you go through that, I keep saying this, on like a random Thursday in February, on a random Tuesday on a back-to-back where you're tired, okay, now I know I need to get my behind to this corner because that's my outlet pass on the wraparound. I need to know, like, hey, he takes in one dribble, he's looking, and he's going to the basket. How does he get Ev and J.A.? How does he unlock them? Because he's phenomenal at that. I can be better at that. And then, like, different things like that, that just comes from playing with each other. That comes from a year of experience that ultimately a conversation, practice, it gets you, but not the same as an actual game.
Reps.
I think so. Those reps, I think, are the biggest thing that we can take from each other. And I think something that for him, I think he's grown in a lot of ways. I think he's grown in his intelligence of the game has grown. I think there's different things that I was fortunate, obviously to play with guys who taught me a lot of what I was teaching him and what he's been learning. And now he's coming out, being able to dictate, point out different things. And we've had team camp this summer where we played 2 different weeks, one in Miami, one in New York, where we're continuously just working together as a team and kind of implementing those different things with each other. So I think there's a lot more we can accomplish and get done.
I mean, we appreciate you. Best luck this upcoming season. Keep hitting home runs and 3-pointers here at Rocket Mortgage Field. That's Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan, we appreciate you, man. Best of luck.